Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Pies. We're going to start off with some information only today. And Mr. Byrd, were you briefing the Community Assembly? Is he in the room? I don't see him. How about we come back to Mr. Byrd? Clint, could you come give us a snow season preview, please? Since we're supposed to have measurable by Wednesday.
You want to start the meeting out right, huh?
Yes.
All right. Let's get my presentation.
That's it.
And all right, so there's not a lot of changes. This is the same plan that you've seen before, but we'll go over it to make sure that there are no new people or that we forgot anything. So based upon feedback from the citizens, we try to do more plowing sooner. One of the changes that we made to enable the drivers to be quicker, to spend more time in the routes, is to locate materials at satellite locations throughout the city. The drivers get caught up in the gridlock just like the rest of the cars. So having the materials strategically located across the city really helps out a lot. Some of the other things that we do is we work on completing the full city plow in 3 days. We minimize the driveway berms. That's important to emphasize. Everyone hears that we'll eliminate the driveway berms, and that's not true. We minimize them as much as possible. And then we try to put a greater emphasis on plowing snow away from the sidewalks. That's always a source of contention that people have a hard time with. So we do extra training and actually spend a lot of time emphasizing that. And then the biggest thing is that we try to make sure that our plans are all flexible. So we do have plans, but not every snowstorm or the conditions each day are the same. So we try to flex with whatever the conditions are to adapt. Yeah, it's locked up.
It's locked up.
So when it snows even an inch or two, the crews will be out to plow the streets. They focus on the arterials and the priority routes first. As part of the regular work week, Monday through Friday, we can do what they call a maintenance plow, where we use our crews in normal work schedules. When it does get to be more than 3 inches of snow and we declare a full city plow, that's when we move into the full city operations. The maintenance in the full city, we do utilize crews from the other utility departments within Public Works.
So Clint, can I ask you, so you use from utilities, but you're not subcontracting out any of this plow with private plowers? It's all city employees?
It's all city employees.
Okay.
So for the driveway berms, we have lots of snow gates, and we try to put those out. Those work just mostly in the residential areas. We've been trying to use snow gates a little bit on the arterials where we can. The snow gates are a little bit slower, so that they have a hard time keeping up with some of the traffic. But we are doing some experimenting with some of that, just trying to see what we can do. And then, again, the crews, we spend a lot of time training and trying to help them to become familiar with the equipment and to be good with it so they can keep the snow off. Parking, we really like to see parking on the outside of the street when possible. It makes the streets just that much wider for us and also for emergency services. In the downtown area, parking when it does snow, we like the cars to move between 12 and 6 a.m. That allows us a chance to pull the parking bays. And then the other thing that I missed there is that it's still time to move the boats and RVs and trailers off onto winter storage and the basketball hoops. And the last thing is For the sidewalks, we asked the citizens to clear a 36-inch path, and that helps the students and disabled folks to be able to have access up and down the streets. Here's a picture of the new bike sweeper. It's in the background there, and then there's a picture of the sander and the plow that goes on the front of it. So we're excited to see that and how we can use it this year on some of our protected bike lanes. For information, we've got the snow brochures that we put into the billings, and they've got the plow route map in that for the residential areas. There's the social media to follow, to get information off of, and there's the city's website, and probably the best resource of all is My Spokane 311. Any questions?
Councilman Cathcart.
Yeah, just wondering, in the past, particularly downtown, if cars are remaining in the way, we've towed them. Is that the plan for this year?
We've not towed them. It would be if we had to, Councilmember
I
Cathcart.
mean, if it's an obstacle, in other words. And I know last year there were some issues where some areas didn't get plowed, there were some cars remaining, and I'm just wondering, are we going to be more proactive on that?
Probably not this year unless it becomes an issue. Normally, over the course of 2 or 3 days, we can usually catch the parking bays when they are empty. We try to work where we have the opportunity to work where it is open, but if it becomes more of a problem, yes, we would be forced to do that. But it's not where we're starting out. Okay.
And so I'm going to piggyback on that, because then the question will be, we've been challenged with abandoned RVs or RVs that are left on the street. So if they are plowed in, there is no way to move them. So those would not be towed away under these conditions at this time.
We would work with code enforcement to get those out if they have to. I mean, after the plowing done, you know, we've got a lot of work for a week to get everything kind of cleaned up, but we can work with code enforcement or PD or whoever the agency is to get vehicles out like that if we need to.
Councilmember Cathcart.
So in that instance, would the funding then come from streets to pay for that?
To plow it out?
No, to tow it.
Oh, to tow it, that would be whatever agency's towing it.
So it's not going to get towed, in other words. It's going to stay right there because there is no money to do it. So.
Well, we wouldn't be leading the charge on actually towing them. That would be some other entity.
Right, but the point being, they're not going to go anywhere.
Possibly not.
Right.
Couldn't answer that.
Yeah. Thank you, Clint. Any other questions for Clint? All right. Next, we're going to have Dan Bueller come up and give us adaptive traffic calming elements. Dan? He reviewed it. Yeah, that picture. Mhm.
Can I speak?
I thought I was
You
here
want-
to talk about Fish
Hang on.
Lake Trail.
What-
My
what-
apologies.
Dan, just one second. You have a question
Yeah, no,
for
I was just going
Clint?
to say that I went out to visit the streets department, and Clint showed me around in the sweeper, and it was really awesome to check out and get the update on all of that. So thank you, Clint and the team. It was really great. So excited to see how that's going to be used over the winter, too. Thanks.
I think one member of the Pies group described it as cute. Would you describe it as cute?
It's adorable.
Oh, there we go.
Well, I just asked if there's room for a ride-along in it. Does it seat 2 people? That's what I want to know. It does not seat 2 people. Well, no ride-along. All right. Thank you, Clint, for that. Thank you, council members of phone. Dan?
All right, I thought I was here to talk about Fish Lake Trail, but we'll talk about adaptive traffic calming. The 3 locations whose names I can't recite off the top of my head, I believe they are finished. I noticed in some of the pictures that I didn't send you, that I was going to send you, 1 or 2 of the cones had been knocked down already, but we'll see how they fare over the winter and how they do in terms of slowing cars down for the pedestrians there. All right.
Since I have you up here, any more comments on this? I'll just jump ahead and have Dan go ahead and talk about number 7, since he's up the Fish Lake Trail.
Yeah,
Are you
able
ready?
to put the Jacoby? I thought it might be helpful to have an overall map of both phases up there. Hopefully you all can see that. Okay, so we are on your PIE's agenda is an amendment to, first of all, before I talk about that, let's talk about the overall Fish Lake Trail. So at the bottom of the exhibit is the trailhead with the parking area south of Sunset Boulevard. And phase one comes along on the east side of Government Way and then jumps off of Government Way at about 5th Avenue. That one's fairly routine and no particular engineering challenges there. Phase two, middle of the page, where you see all the switchbacks, we're going down, if you think when you're on Government Way and think how much lower Latah Creek is, we have quite a bit of elevation gain to make up, or actually elevation loss to make up. And then we go through some areas that have some potential cultural sensitivities, so we're going to have to spend a bit of money making sure we don't screw anything up there. And then we go across the river there right by People's Park, and we're exploring some different alternatives. Ideally, we're going to be on the same bridge because a new bridge would, of course, cost a fortune. Phase one is funded for construction, which means we could do, and phase two is not yet funded for construction. Both of them are funded with grant for design. Phase one we could do in 2025, except that if we delay until 2026, we have a decent chance of getting another grant to make up the local match for construction. So it could end up being entirely grant funded instead of right now when it's just a majority of grant funding. The two items, one that we added late last week on your agenda, relate to design. Phase one design, we are requesting a bit more on the consultant contract to account for, at the corner of Sunset and Government Way, if we do a little bit of property acquisition, we can save the cost of a couple $100,000 worth of signal poles. Seemed like a pretty good trade-off. And then the cultural resources. There was a scoping study on this project that identified, did some preliminary environmental work, but because they identified some cultural resource things that I mentioned here a little bit ago, we need to map that out a little tighter. And so that's part of the requested additional funding for the phase one contract. And then phase two, which was the laid out on last week, is the design contract, which is in the $500,000 range, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money, but there is a lot of engineering because all those switchbacks all involve large retaining walls, which are no cheap feat. So.
Any questions for Dan on the Fish Lake Trail? I'm sure there'll be more to come. All right, thank you. Oh,
Yeah, I just had a
Councilperson-
comment on the adaptive design. Councilmember Klitsky and I filmed our council connection out at the West Central location a couple weeks ago. So it was great to see it out in action, and it was great. So thanks.
Thanks. All right, we'll get back on track. We're going to go to first discussion item is the ordinance relating to business activities. And if Mr. Boston's in the house, he can come on down.
Kind of wanted to take Dan's tactic and just kind of say not it, like. So this is a ordinance suspending the temporary piece of the 20% to the 21%. As you all know, that Mayor Woodward had identified the need for the general fund deficit to be closed, the increasing the utility tax from the utility departments as well as the outside utilities to increase from 20 to 21%. This removes that as the administration is needing to utilize that tool as well. The current administration is needing to utilize that tool as well in the next biennium.
Any council questions? Councilmember Cathcart?
So I guess, is there any heartburn at all over the fact that this was kind of committed to as a one-year, one-time only, reiterated over and over again, because I kept asking over and over again? I mean, are we not concerned about the trust of the people we represent?
I mean, I would say that there is
We just jacked up their fees, and I mean, it's just, and now we're going to swipe some of that, so it just,
yeah, I mean, this is a really small component of the overall fee increase that we're talking about. This is, I mean, while this does have to do with our internal fees, the internal utility tax, this deals with all of the utility taxes that we incur. So this is the utility taxes that we also collect from Avista, et cetera. But I think there is a challenge, without a doubt. This is a tool that was identified early on, actually, when we were talking to council, when I was still with council back in 2023, as a stopgap measure. I think it's the administration's full intention to remove this or reduce this back down to 20%. But yeah, I mean, it's.
what about the other utility taxes? You said that we're increasing all of them, but there's actually others. There's the telephone, there's the specifically the natural gas, the electric facilities that are 6%. We're not touching those. How come?
So this has to do with just the utility taxes that that we can control. I mean, I think with us adjusting the other ones, we would have to start discussing litigation of that, because it would be an agreed upon amount. But oh, there you go, state law.
All right. Well, thank you. I know I know on council when we discussed that 1% that was going to be for 1 year, and that is challenging, Councilor Cathcart, but so is a deficit. So. Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
Mr.
mean, it's definitely something that we worked with Marlene and her team on, of the sustainability of it for 25, 26 as well.
Thank you, Mr. Botson.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Jones. It's so
This has been
difficult.
a while.
I know,
This
you're
has
on the
been a
wrong
while.
side of the dais.
I know. It's an honor. Thank you for having me this afternoon. I think, Andres, we got a quick presentation there to show you. And I'm going to share just a quick presentation that we shared with the Park Board of the Park Board's desires, and then some of those benefits that we've been looking at with staff and our partners.
Do you want him to control it, or do you want to control the switch?
Am
Oh,
I
there we
allowed
go.
to control? Really? Is it with this thing here?
The down button when you get there.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
There we go. So in your packet, you have a city council resolution, a draft resolution. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what the Park Board resolution was regarding the park levy and master plan proposal that we've been working on for quite some time, just after COVID. In today's resolution, what you're going to see, the Park Board is asking the City Council to defer the levy ballot measure from February of 2025 until a later date in 2025 to align with partnership opportunities being explored. And to talk a little bit more about those, why explore partnerships? And in this case, we're exploring this partnership with Spokane Public Schools. The previous deferrals have given us a lot of time to really think of the win-wins across the community and looking at those other partner organizations. With the school bond failing in February and also our levy measure being deferred, we're really able to come together and start looking at really the mission alignment between the two organizations. And I think what we'll find is in both cases, it's really around that thriving neighborhoods. It's the focus within our 29 neighborhoods across the city of Spokane. Also really around the wellness, not only the physical wellness, but also the mental wellness of what Parks and Recreation can play and what SPS can play. Youth development, and then also really around the safety, maintenance, and operations. What we found in our master plan was around safety concerns in our public spaces, really around, too, the maintenance and operations. a lot of comments around, we really love what we have in our parks. We just wish they were maintained more frequently and that we would have replacements of some of those assets. And then also building on our past successes, we have a lot of leverage between the type of facilities and infrastructure that Spokane Public Schools can align with the city on, and also land. When we look at land sharing across the organization of rather than all of us going out and trying to acquire new lands, what type of opportunities do we have within? And a good example, even though it was a painful but good educational example, is really around the dog parks in that exercise that we encountered with the SPS. And I think what you see today when Dan's presentation just a little bit earlier about the type of quality and investments that we're going to see in the Highbridge area, Highbridge Park, with the Fish Lake Trail extension, new parking facilities, updated parking facilities for the dog park, lighting, and other amenities. And then also, too, we have one of the longest standing joint use agreements around sharing our facilities, whether it's fields, gymnasiums, and we're starting to see that capacity now to where we cannot fulfill the number of participants that we have in our community. We're at a max with the gym spaces, with our volleyball programs, Hoop Town, and then also what we're just seeing on organized sports and also in arts and culture, of just wanting to have a community space to be able to provide that type of asset. When we look at the community needs of how we can possibly address this better together is really around the aging infrastructure that I talked about in facilities, that extremely high demand that we're seeing right now, which is a good problem to have, that we're starting to see that activation of our youth wanting to be outside more. The limited opportunities around arts and culture, the lingering concerns of the public safety, the desire for improved facilities around our maintenance and operations, and then the critical need around the conversations of early learning, not only from an infrastructure side, but what role can the city and Parks and Recreation play in that regard as well when we look at kindergarten readiness. And then the enormous implications around our youth alternatives to screens, as far as having our youth be in nature, be activated with one another, communicate with their peers. And so again, when we look at the mission alignment, we see a lot of advantages of moving forward. So what the Park Board did last Thursday, they approved a resolution 8-1 that basically read these two pieces here, that the Park Board requests the City Council indefinitely defer the citywide park improvement and safety levy until a later date in 2025, which aligns with future partnership opportunities between the City of Spokane and Spokane Public Schools. And be it further resolved, the Park Board supports a thoughtful partnership with Spokane Public Schools to invest in improving parks, facilities, and programs to support active, healthy, and safe neighborhoods citywide. So any questions?
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great plan. I guess my concern is that we're kicking this can yet again, and whether it was last February or this last August, I mean, we have had an opportunity to bring this before the voters and to fund these investments. We continue to kick the can. Now we're kicking it to an unknown date, which is even worse. And frankly, there's a chance that we may have a jail provision on the ballot next November. And so what's the plan for how we're going to have multiple tax measures? Are we okay with that? I mean, have we thought about that at all?
There's been a lot of risk as far as pros and cons into when we do this. I think the one difference here is this is the Park Board asking this go around for this to be deferred. I think when we look at the number of advantages around the types of improvements and infrastructures that we can provide to our community in a very impactful way, of looking at the differences of going alone versus going together and seeing those type of investments across the community. The Park Board at this point feels that that's a risk that they're willing to take because of the type of investments and impact that our neighborhoods will have.
Well, I'll just say, I mean, the Park Board didn't want it kicked off the August ballot, but we said to hell with that and we kicked it off anyway. So, I mean, I don't know that we necessarily take the advice of the Park Board when it comes to these things. But yeah. I'm willing to listen to the Park Board if they have a strong plan and a campaign plan that makes sense. I'm willing to listen to that. I haven't heard about it yet, but I'm willing to listen to that.
Yeah, and I think too, I'd be happy to sit down and go over some more of those details. And I think because where we're at today at the PIES Committee, It would go to a vote December 2nd, because that deadline is December 13th to either remove or add to the February 2025 ballot. And what we're planning to is a January, February kind of public kickoff website development that we're working on right now that would list, basically you could punch in your address and you could see every improvement that's happening within your neighborhood, what phase it is in, from a program sense to an infrastructure component, to really look at not only district-wide, what are those big projects, but also what's happening next to me, and having that interaction. And so we're working on that website development right now. And working with the school district, we would like sooner rather than later, after we have some of that development of the pros and cons, is it August or is it November of 2025, to come back sooner rather than later in that first quarter of 2025, to come back to the city council and the park board and then also the school board for that measure to go on to the ballot. Now, keep in mind, these still would be two separate ballot measures, but through education and outreach, you would see together, this is what we'd be able to do. If we went separate, then this is the baseline that we'd be able to provide.
Councilman Cameron?
I guess, so would the plan be to take a page out of the Parks and Streets proposal from 2015 and use that kind of model as a way to run these together?
Yep, I think 2014 was a great model. I think, too, there was a lot of lessons learned and great pros and cons that we learned from the 2018 model as well, when it was libraries in school district, of going out as looking at joint facilities, using existing land and development. So there's some good case studies around of really launching into that. And so we've been working too behind the scenes of what that looks like together. And I mean, as you know, just from a parks perspective, there's a lot, right? There is hundreds of different projects and investments within our neighborhood parks. And so it is really going to come down to the communication and education and outreach of how to distill it enough to really the elevator speech of what we're trying to do, but then providing a platform like a website to really dial into the details of the types of investments.
Councilmember Bingle?
I think you know where I'm at on this one.
I do.
I was the dissenting vote on the park board. For me, I told you guys I wasn't going to support another deferral when the last one came, because I didn't want the last one. I didn't want the first one. And honestly, my district, we need parks. We need them quickly. We need improvements. We need them quickly. And I think this levy would pass without the schools. And that's not to say that it wouldn't pass with schools, but I don't think we need the schools to help us get this thing passed the way that we've pitched it to our community. I know at least in District 1, we've talked pretty seriously about the serious improvements that we would get in District 1. And District 1 would get some good ones, right? Minnehaha would get a big update. Harmon would get a new park in Shiloh Hills. I mean, there's a lot that would happen. For me, there is no guarantee that we won't defer this again. And so I'm not supporting any more deferrals for this. But I appreciate all the work that you guys have put in. You guys know I love parks and I support you guys, but I'm not supporting the deferral anymore.
Understand and respect that.
So I'll just comment, I was on part of the parks planning for the levy that was deferred, and there was some great ideas. And the lesson learned after the last election round, parks had this great vision, and so did public schools have a great vision. And this pause seemed to allow these two entities to join those visions together for the betterment of our community at a lesser cost, I might add, if there is a partnership involved in how we utilize it and what we're trying to accomplish with our young people, just that outdoor engagement, community-driven, how schools can expand and how parks can play a part in that. So I hear Councilmember Bingle, but that's why we have a Parks Board, and that's why they vote. And I will be supporting their decision because they're in the trenches and doing the engagement. So we look forward to how that comes across to us in the future and what that looks like.
And I would say there was a lot of discussion too at the park board, and I mean, that is some of the biggest risk, is that unknown, right? It's the time in between, that window of time of what else could happen. I think from an implementation standpoint, whether it's February of 2025 or a later date in 2025, the actual implementation of those projects does not change. That starts after that first quarter of 2026. And I think through this has just given us a time to, we've really have been focusing on a lot of the past of what Expo 50 is given us and what that vision was for Expo 50. And it's really our goal and our mission of creating what is that next vision of Spokane for the next 50 years. And it's really around that investment in us and investment in our neighborhoods, around being active and providing safe spaces for the community to gather. And we're pretty excited of what we've been able to come up with so far.
Councilmember Sapone.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear all about this collaboration and this vision. I will definitely be supporting this, and it was exciting to see it in presentation format. So thank you for all the work that you're doing with the school district on this. I think this will be a better use of taxpayer dollars and deliver more services. I know that when we delayed the tax or the park levy before, part of the consideration was not knowing what the sales tax measure or what our deficit would be this year. And so I was really concerned that we would be going to voters earlier this year and unable to deliver those services that they would be voting on. And so I think this pause allowed us to get our house in order so that the park board and the parks would have a more secure financial foundation. And then we're able to build upon that for future services. It would have been pretty devastating if the sales tax measure didn't go through. That would have had a negative impact, and then people would have been not getting the services they voted on. So I think this request allows us to create that vision, be able to educate the public. I would be really concerned about an education campaign by February at this point, that I would be worried that anything would be able to pass in February. And I think that could cause more harm than pausing and making sure that something gets done. So I'm excited to be supporting this.
All right. Councilmember Bingle?
Yeah, I would say for the record, had we not been planning on a deferral, we could have started an education campaign already. It wouldn't have been something that we were working on, but I think we already had in the back of our mind that we were going to be deferring this for a partnership with the schools, because we've been talking for months at this point, and so it's not as if we wouldn't have had time for a campaign. We chose not to run a campaign.
Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah, so is what the schools would be running, is that going to be a bond?
Correct.
So it's going to require 60%. So I think 58% is what Prop 1 got, 56% is what the last school bond got. I mean, I think there's probably going to be more unified support for a park levy, I hope anyway. But what's the plan to make sure parks or schools gets over 60%?
I think it's really going to how we educate on what we're able to provide that was not in the original park levy, what was not in the original school bond, but coming together of really, it's a value add judgment, right? And so it's how do we communicate those value adds across the community is going to be the key. It now comes down to the communication component to all of this, because there is a lot. And how do you say, okay, so if one passes and one fails, then what? So what's that scenario look like? So it's going to come down to how thoughtful we can be around that communication and outreach.
Lastly, I think it's important to just say that, if we're not careful about thinking, seeing that the schools only got 56%, it's the first time a school bond had failed in a long time, right? If we're misreading the attitude towards funding more school buildings and improvements, if we're misreading that and people are not interested in passing that, there is a real opportunity for this to actually negatively affect the park's ask. And so I think that's important for us, and I know you guys are considering it, but
No, I
Could
appreciate
happen.
that. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank
We
you.
look forward
Appreciate
to Next, we're going to have up Jenny Ramos supporting enhanced fraud protection. Or should go?
I'll go.
Councilmember Dillon,
No
all right?
worries. Yeah, thank
I'll
you.
give you the next two then.
Yeah,
Keep going.
but thank you so much, Jenny, for your work on this. So this is a resolution that is in support of agency request legislation from the Department of Financial Institutions. I really want to thank Detective Tim Schwering for his work around crypto fraud in the city. I was actually pretty startled to learn that Washington is actually one of the leading the nation in the number of complaints related to crypto kiosks in the city. They're pretty spread around by district, and we definitely see a lot of scams targeted towards elderly folks. The legislation is drafted. We first got a preview of it in April, and this will be on kind of our Tier 2 agenda I really think it is an example of Spokane leading on this issue. And again, just thank you so much, Detective Schwaring, for bringing this forward. We've seen cities around the country regulate these more closely with warning signs. And this legislation would impose a daily transaction limit and also cap fees. So that limit would be $1,000 a day. And look forward to moving this ahead.
Councilmember Bingle.
Yeah, so I've got a buddy who's in the consumer protection space, and you know, when this had first come up, you know, he and I had chatted about it. He was just at a national conference and they weren't discussing this, and I was asking him, hey, can you look into this for me? And he actually had even said on his own, like, if Spokane is actually like leading this charge, they're like way out in the lead on this issue. And so this, I think, truly is one where Detective Schwaring and others receive, you know, or should receive a serious amount of credit, because it's something that I think a lot of the country will end up following. And Spokane really is on the cutting edge on this one.
Excellent.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right.
Seeing none, go to the next one.
All right, thank you. So this is a resolution supporting the delay of what's known as the Thorpe Road property. So Department of Natural Resources, they currently own this land adjacent to a development that has been platted and approved. Last legislative session, we did apply for this to be part of a state title land trust transfer. But projects are ranked on a list. This ranked fairly low. So DNR did put out a notice in early October that they're intending to do a swap for this land. And I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. We did hear some feedback that a lot of stakeholders, tribal partners, did not get a chance to weigh in when the initial title land trust transfer was scored. So there's an interest in perhaps going back through that process or having this be part of the Conservation Futures program. So that's been a recommendation as well. There is a hearing coming up at the library with DNR for the public. That is December 6th. But this would be extending the comment period out to 180 days. So people have more time to weigh in.
Great. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, so is this, has land been transferred then to a private property? Is that
No.
what's occurred?
No, not yet.
And
No.
so what is it that we're delaying exactly? I'm not understanding.
Yeah, the opportunity for just extending the comment period for what the property could be, what is its value. There was a couple different kind of moving parts that I mentioned before. For example, that being part of the Title Land Trust Transfer Program, which would put it up as a conservation area and preserve it. Possibly it could be park use.
Sure. But I guess my question is, what is our ability to extend that? If this is state land and it's a state process, wouldn't they be the entity that would have to extend the comment period, not the city council?
They are looking to us for guidance and input on this property because it is in city land.
I guess I'm just not understanding how we can affect their process. I mean, if they want to extend it. Like,
Yeah.
why do they need us to do something?
Well, I think a lot of groups are looking for us to kind of take the lead and work with other agencies and help facilitate a discussion that would help provide more input and kind of lengthen this comment period, because the perception was that this was certainly too short for the significance of the area.
So we're saying DNR does not agree. So they don't agree. They think that the timeline is just fine?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And so
Yeah.
we're trying to pass something that tells them to do something different.
Yes, just to extend the process for the comment period.
I think one of the comments was that our tribal partners really didn't have the opportunity to weigh in. That was a big
Correct.
component of asking for this, as they are a major player in our region. Councilmember Bingo? and then
I
Councilmember
would say it's not that they didn't have an opportunity to respond, they didn't respond. And for me, the reason why this one bothers me is being on the park board, love conservation lands, love being able to do that. But also, to me, it fits a pattern of us not wanting development in certain areas. And that is what I have a problem with and we can discuss the language here. But in one of the recitals, it says the property should be properly vetted by all interested parties, including organizations, individuals, and tribal communities. And if it's truly all, then at what point do we say, well, not everybody who wants to weigh in has been allowed to weigh in? Because if it's something where we need to extend it now because somebody didn't get to, then why would we not extend it again and again? And that's sort of what we've been doing with development moratoriums and things like that throughout the city. So I think this is, I don't think it's a good thing for us as a city to be weighing in on.
Well, I'll just respond to that really quickly. I think in the interest of not kicking the can down the road, which I know has happened repeatedly in Leyte, I think coming up with that, 180-day finite comment period, and what happens, right? I mean, kind of letting the process play out. But I think there is a sense of this was rushed, it was moving too quickly, and a lot of partners hadn't had a chance to provide feedback.
What was the comment period before? We're asking for 180. What was it?
Oh, so 60, but that's ongoing. So that 60 days ends, I want to say December 3rd. So it's coming to an end.
Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah, just to make sure I know. So they've followed the process as it exists under state law. Did they advertise as they were supposed to in the proper publications and things like that?
It's still hard to find, in government. It's always hard to get the word out. And I've had a lot of folks kind of reaching out to me individually asking, hey, what is the process? Where can we find this? Like, I think the hearing at the library is a great example of a lot of folks not knowing that was happening. So I think in the interest of giving some more adequate time and process, that was sort of the impetus behind this resolution.
All right. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to go on to Marsha Davis for the annual increase for general facilities. Marsha, welcome.
Thank you, Council President. Council. So we have our annual update for GFCs. It's in your packet on, I think it's page 55, are the actual rates of how they will be changed. According to our ordinance, we use the ENR CCI index, and this last year, the inflation rate was 0.99%, just under 1%. So we've updated the tables that will be part of the resolution, and those will go on our webpage, so both our development center and those people that need to pay those fees will know their cost. Any question on that?
Councilmember Bingo.
No, I'll just say that's fantastic news. When we were, working on the new updating of the GFCs and we tied it to the ENR, I thought for sure it would have been higher than 0.99, so less than 1% to me is a win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was a little surprising.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the way the numbers came out.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
I'm also going to present for Nate.
Oh, are you going to do that as well?
Yes,
Okay.
Nate's on vacation, so.
All right, so we're going to go to the grant award for the industrial symbiosis, which I didn't know what that was, which is why it's on the agenda.
Okay. So I'll start out to say I am not the expert on industrial symbiosis, but we have Kyle Arrington here that can tell you all the details about everything on this. This is a grant by Commerce that was due at the 1st of November. It has a short timeline, so we will find out this Friday whether we were awarded or not, and we have to have all this money spent by June 30th, 2025. So because of the short timeline, we wanted to get this before council so they would understand what the grant was and what we're using it for. So what we're using this for is design and installation of a new pump station at the treatment plant to reclaim and reuse the effluent, the water that's treated and we discharge to the river, to treat that to a level so we can use it for processed water in the treatment plant. The treatment plant used to be one of our top 10 potable water users in the city, and they've been working to reduce that, and this is one of the goals to do that. The grant is, the project is $250,000, and the grant will pay 50% of that, $125,000.
Any questions? All right, well, thank you so much. Seeing no other business before us, we are adjourned. What? Oh, staff updates, I'm sorry. Are there any staff updates? You have the list? Okay. Any other staff updates?
In the committee list?
Or committee? I don't have it in front of me. Do you have the committee list in front of you?
You can try to find it. What? I'll try to pull it up from a previous
Yeah.
agenda.
I'm sorry, I didn't have it in front of
I
me.
know Airport Board is one, STA is another, SRTC is another.
SRTC, we approved our unified list of projects for the year for the legislature and the federal government. And they're also updating some plans, one of which contains a new equity chapter. So we've been working with Alex and SRTC to get some input into that and add some state definitions and information from the Joint Transportation Committee.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you all read in the paper that the CEO of Spokane International Airport is moving on to Cincinnati. So a great opportunity for him, challenges for Spokane. We will be meeting this Thursday looking at a transition plan for Mr. Crowder going forward, so more to come. But that being said, all the building in place for our next phase of construction is on track. And so we're just looking for our new leadership and what 2025 brings. Do you want to do transit? Oh, broadband. Anything on broadband, Councilmember Cagar?
Yeah, just there's basically the BEAD grant money that's going to be coming out flowing from the Fed to the states. The applications are now open for that, and it's real technical, really complicated stuff. Basically, making sure that we're able to provide access to residents all across the state in the rural, particularly in those rural areas where access is limited now. And so hoping that we can put together a plan that will pass muster and get us the dollars flowing out of the state that will fund those programs. So that's what's happening right now.
All right. I'll just say, one of the biggest things on STA is the retirement of Susan Myers. Her party will be Thursday. So we are in the process of looking for a new CEO. I just have to make an observation. A lot of leadership transition and some of our major partners is going on in our community. So I encourage everyone to really be engaged on new leadership because we are setting the course for the next 10 years of what Spokane will be like.
Yeah, and I can add to that, the task force, CEO transition task force, met this week and decided on a process that we've been talking to about the board and a consultant. The consultant, Susan's going to be making an offer to them or contracted with them last week, I believe, or Friday. So in the next month, community members should expect the consultant for STA will be reaching out and asking community partners and doing a community survey of what folks are looking for in a new CEO. That way, STA can create a candidate profile and go recruit someone of what we're looking for in our next CEO. STA is also doing its last final hearing on Connect 2035 projects. I believe we're voting on that for adoption at the next meeting this week.
Salmon recovery, I don't know how many people have noticed, but there are salmon back in the Spokane River now, which is great. And we did have our first meeting, which Sarah attended. They're basically bringing together their stakeholders, and I think we will be making a work plan at the next meeting. And they finally accepted me to the Spokane Regional Solid Waste Group, which only took 10 months.
I want to be flippant and say it's a trashy organization, but I'm not going to say that. So, on which one? Number 3. Oh, so Clint, you're going to come back and do the bike pedestrian sweep review. I think that completed our committee reports. I'm sorry I skipped over you in information only. You thought you were lucky, didn't you?
I didn't know what was going on. I just wanted to give an update for how the season went, just to follow up. So we'd made a commitment to share with you how the season went. So if you remember right, last year we had a request to perform bike lane maintenance to do a better job. So we got the traffic calming money approved for it and moved forth. And the crews did a really good job setting up all the lots of work that goes on in the background to putting something like that together. There's no routes and, no SOPs for the crews to work with. There's just a lot of details that go on. So the crews have done a great job, but the equipment was ordered, the routes and all the SOPs were created. And in May, the crews actually received the sweeper to begin sweeping. So I guess I'm in control. With that, these are the activities basically that we'd agreed to, which was bike lane sweeping, the bike lane striping maintenance, speed feedback signs, the 20 when flashing signs, and also the weed cutting maintenance. And so those are is the table that we'd use to put together the cost estimate for that. The routes that were put together, these are the multimodal for the sweeping routes that the crews put together, and these are the ones where the little sweeper exclusively goes on. There's, I have some numbers for how many miles on one of the following slides, but that's the network. Here's the overall bicycle master plan map that has the other routes that we also hit. So there's all the different priority routes as well as the that are rated by high bike routes, moderate bike. So the crews have put together a plan to hit these, and they go out through the neighborhoods and make sure that those are the routes that they're hitting. This is a route tracking chart just to show what they're using to track. So they've not only done one sweeping, which is like we do through the city, but they've done multiple sweepings. So on most of the routes, I think they've got up to three or four separate rounds on them. And there's the miles, the start dates, when they started and finished, and then the number of lane miles for each one of those routes as well. This is where we ended up year to date. You've got the comparison. So we come in right around 400,000, which is where we had committed to coming in. That was for all the maintenance, for the channelizers, the speed feedback signs, the 21 flashing maintenance that is done, the striping and that. Any questions or comments about that?
Better picture. Any questions?
So this is another picture of the sweeper again compared to the big sweepers. It's actually performed very well. It's been a good year. We've not hardly received any feedback or bad feedback from the biking community, which I take no news as good news, right? So we did get some requests from them from time to time. They're your best scouts to let you know where there's dirt in the bike lanes, and so we used that to follow up, but overall it's been very positive. So in the future we're going to gather the information from this season, this winter season. We'll meet with Colin next year to discuss the program. He gets a lot of feedback and is a good advocate for both groups. Then we'll look at ideas for maintaining the facilities better, improving service, and then build off that. Any questions?
And so 311 would be the place our cyclists or pedestrians have concerns. That would be their ramp to make their complaint.
Yeah, that 311's a really good conduit for us. They send us communications anytime they get feedback for most anything in the city.
Any other questions or comments for Clint? All right, thank you, sir. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate that. Having no other business before us, we are adjourned, and we will see you back at 3:30.